Today I'm making a plant. Hey Christopher, how are you? Let's do a dab first. Wow, that's a minute. Give me a second, I'll be right there with the comments. How's it going? Been a while. It's been a while since I've been on here. I was in the hospital for a week. It's been kind of a rough month, but I'm doing okay. We are doing some testing, so I'm stuck with a bunch of wires all over me right now. But I get them taken off tomorrow, so that'll be nice. How are you? So today, doing great, awesome. Friday was actually 6 months off methadone. That is amazing. Congratulations. That is definitely something worth celebrating there. Wow, that is so cool. Hey Jamie, how is everybody? So today I am making a plant. I have the leaves, they're just flat leaves. I have a couple of leaves finished that I can show you. But it's going to go in this vase, or vase, whichever way you want to pronounce it. This is the leaf. You have to use a lot of hot glue, but it should be cute. I have, 4 different sizes of leaves. So I have the large, then we have this size, then this size, and this size, and then some roses to put in there just to kind of make it look pretty. So this is actually my first time, trying this, so wish me luck. So I went down and I bought a bunch of these wires from Walmart, because they were like 30 wires for $1. So on the big leaves, you have to taper the wire down. What you guys smoking on? Anything good? So did you have a party to celebrate 6 months? I mean, that's definitely worth a party, I think. That is amazing. I love hearing that you guys are getting off some of this stuff and that this is working for you, and that, oh, I love it. It is amazing to me. So I'm actually wearing shorts again today, and it's a little uncomfortable. So bear with me here. wonder if I... saving it for your first year. I don't blame you there. That is one hell of a feat. I am so proud and happy for you. That is amazing. That's a tough one to get off of. I don't personally know, but my mother, I watched my mother, and yeah, it was tough. I don't think she ever fully got clean from the methadone. I think she died with it in her system. Not to say that methadone had anything to do with the death. Not saying that whatsoever. I guess I could tell you this story time. Maybe. So, yeah, I can probably tell you this story time. Both of my mom and the gentleman that I'd be talking about have both since passed away. So, let me tell you a little story. So, my mom was very, 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 very codependent. She always had to have somebody. And she found this guy, and I'm not going to name him. And he had a very interesting backstory. His backstory was he had met a woman. Hey, Ken, how you doing? Dr. Pepper. So he had a very interesting past. He was engaged once before when he was like 18, 19 years old to a woman that was a little bit, maybe she was 19 years old and he was a little older. I don't remember. I wasn't around for this part of the story. He was much older than me. But she was 8 months pregnant and mysteriously came up missing. Walking home from her job at a bar. She was a bartender in Phoenix. Well, her and her baby up and disappeared, never to be heard or seen from again. To this day, still never been heard to and seen from again. Dr. Pepper Power, you know it. And then his first wife, the wife he actually married, ended up dying from an overdose of hormones. Not opioids, hormones. Which I thought, that's not only difficult to do, that's interesting. And I don't think that's what happened. He had basically secluded her from everybody, her own kids even, from that lady. I didn't really know her. I know that the kids want nothing to do with him, or had nothing to do with him at the time of his death. He was then married my mom. He started getting her secluded to where, I mean, my brother and I wouldn't even come around anymore. It was so bad. And that's what these predators do. Well, then she ended up anemic and ended up in the hospital, and that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. She was in a coma. She was in a chemically induced coma, and I'm not exactly sure why even to this day. She had been taken into the hospital for anemia. She then had some issues breathing, so they did something with her lungs. They did a scraping or something to her lungs because they needed to do a biopsy. That ended up, she never woke up from that, basically, is what happened. Well, in the midst of all of that, my mother and I hadn't spoken to each other in a year. The last words I had said to my mom was, she was dead to me. And I really didn't mean it that way. Sorry, I get choked up with that one. Now it's hard for me because I was mad. You say things in anger, and I was so angry, so mad. But that's besides the point. And what happens is when you end up in that type of a position, she started to turn septic, and her body ended up blowing up because she had a ventilation tube on. Her body ended up blowing up like a big balloon. Well, Mike didn't like that. He kept having them poke her with these needles to let the air out. And it was torture to me. It was literally, I wanted to wring his neck. But because he was the medical power of attorney, that's all that there was. My mom had been in a coma for about a week before anybody had contacted me. And I believe that was Mike's doing because my mother had come to me and told me that she wouldn't take an open container from Mike any longer. She wouldn't take a soda or even a meal from him if it had been an open container. Either she was cooking it or they were going out to eat or whatever, but she would not take something that he had prepared because she didn't trust him. I guess she had also confided this into somebody else. Well, I confided this to my brother, and it was a huge mess, but in the end, he kept trying to keep her alive. My mom's advance directives were that she didn't want to be kept alive in a coma. If that was the extent of her being, turn her off and let her see, her Heavenly Father. And I understand that. And she should have been turned off about a week before the time that we did. She was in a chemically induced coma for 6 weeks. I'm sorry, 4 weeks. My bad, 4 weeks. And it was horrible because I just wanted her to wake up one time just so I could say I was sorry and that I loved her, and it was hell. Well, when my aunt had told me that my mom had confided in her as well, that made me feel a little bit better, but things got weirder after that. I mean, they got really weird after that. He ended up trying to contact me when I was in the hospital. He wanted me to send him nudes. He was so weird. He ended up remarrying somebody. I don't even know who the hell she is. It was in a different state. I don't know. The guy was just weird. But in my truth, in my mind, in my brain, he had something to do with my mother's death. I know he did. He harassed me for a long time after my mom had passed away. I know he had something to do with it. I can't prove anything. And now it's not up to me. He's passed away. It's up to, Heavenly Father. And I guess the only reason why I haven't spoke about this before is because I didn't want him to think, oh, she's talking about me. I can call her again. And so now that he's passed away and he's gone, I know that I can talk about it now and not have to worry about that repercussion of him trying to get me to talk to him again. It sucks. Oopsie. Almost like some Natalie. Oh, I know, right? Totally. It seems like something totally science fiction. It's so retarded. But I don't know. There's all kinds of people in this world. I mean, there's other things that my mom told me that I have never told anybody else simply because, A, I don't think it's anybody else's business, and B, I didn't want to know. So, I mean, that comes down to even how he wanted to have sex with her type of a thing, and that's, I don't want to know, don't tell me, shoo shoo, bye-bye. That's an overshare on anybody's department, but he was just so far out there. My mom had a friend, and that friend's still alive, but my mom had a friend, and he's transgender, and I believe, I couldn't remember if he was going male to female or female to male. It's a he now. He's a he. Sorry, I will get this right. I swear, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I really am not. Again, don't want to say his name out loud because of privacy issues. He is still alive, and I wouldn't do that to anybody. But he was transitioning from female to male, and I don't know how Mike had done it, but Mike had sexually coerced him too. So I don't know. The whole thing was weird. Yeah, it's like, it's like some Stephen King novel or something. It's crazy, but it's true. And that's probably some of the best parts of it. It's true. I wish to this day I could find this buried woman. And here's the TV part of it. I actually, have you guys heard of that medium psychic lady who's in Arizona that helps solve cases? She doesn't work for the police department, but she does actually assist them on several things. I reached out to contacted her, told her the whole story, and said, I would really like to stop this other mom from hurting. I know how I'm hurting, and if we could find this poor child's body and this grandchild's body and let this parent bury them and give closure, then that would be a good thing. Well, I never heard back from them. Well, I did hear back once from the assistant. And the assistant, you know, she's like, I read your story. It's a compelling story. It's very, very interesting. We just don't have the time right now. But if something opens up, we'll give you a call. And since then, my number's changed, my email's changed, and I actually didn't even think about reaching out to her again until now. So, I don't know. I might. It's very interesting. It's an interesting story. I know, it is definitely some freaky shit. Julie's on here too. She knows the whole story. You can ask her. She helped me live through this story. I ended up with an apartment that was haunted. It was this huge mess. I would be on lives with Julie there, and you could hear the thudding, all around the apartment. It was so freaky. Yeah, this is real. It really happened. This man, I mean, he called and harassed me for months. He said he was going to show up at my apartment. The woman that transitioned to a man said he was going to show up at my apartment. I mean, there was all kinds of shit that went down over this whole thing. It was crazy. It's crazy. I know. It's been a crazy life. I should write a book. Oh, so yummy. Okay, so let's get this going. So that is my crazy story time for today. I thought it was I thought it was crazy, but it's definitely interesting. I had it to the point where I had to have the police department in the town that I lived in. I had their number on speed dial because I was afraid he was going to show up at my apartment, and we think he did at one point, but we don't have any proof to that, and he's since passed away. So we are not going to tarnish his reputation anymore, but I do honestly believe that he had something to do with all three of the women's demises. I do believe he is the one that disappeared his pregnant fiance. I think he's the one that overdosed his wife, his first wife, for whatever reason, I don't know. And I think he fully had something to do with my mother's demise. We did get something out of the coroner's report that gave us some type of information, but again, don't remember much about it, and I gotta pull that case open again. I didn't actually really think about this until now. Such loud thumps and noises at the apartment. Felt heavy of that energy that he... Yeah, they said that they had cursed me. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting. So, yeah, it was a crazy time. Things have since calmed down, but I don't know. My mom was into weird stuff like that too. So she had what they call bones that you read or something or other. I had those in my apartment at one point in time. Those came up missing, and I have no idea where they went. I asked my kids, not a clue. It was definitely weird. But yeah, I had problems with this guy for a long time. And he would randomly call and I swear he was doing it on purpose to torture me and try to talk to me about my mother's death. It was so, he was so random. It was so weird. And it was so, I don't know. Every time I got off the phone after it being him, I felt violated. It was just horrific. I would call Julie crying because there he is again. Now I'm calling the police again because now he's contacting me via phone again. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, weirdo shit. There are some interesting people in this world, let me tell you. So, now that I have all the glue on this last leaf, because I'm only doing 4 big leaves, And I have 3 of them done, so I figured I'd do the 4th one with you guys, and then we're just going to decorate the vase. So everything else is done. You don't have to watch me put glue on anything else. But I do have to wait for this to dry. And then we are going to make a plant. I hope. I hope this turns out cute. Considering I've never actually done this before and I'm doing it for the first time on video, I hope it turns out well. I almost just need to pull my comments up on here because I can't see them. Let's see if I can pull my comments up. Sorry, guys. Just because I'm having a hard time reading them. My eyes do not want to focus today. There I am. Hi, got comments up. Hello, you have some questions about RSO. Oh, what is that in my hair? Go ahead and ask your questions, please. I will be more than happy to answer them. What is in my hair is electrodes. I have, I'm going through a 48-hour test right now to where they're watching the brain activity, which is actually kind of cool because I'm notating the times that I smoke so I can see if there's any change in that brain activity. So just kind of something fun to do on that end. But because I get such bad migraines and I have had seizures, we have to go through testing every now and again. And so this is the testing. So I'll show you what testing looks like. So I have this on my head. It goes all the way around. All of these wires then come down. I have this thing on my body that you'll see it blink. This monitors and controls all of this. And then you have, sorry, I have a sports bra on, the electrodes that have to go through. So yeah, I'm strapped all the way up today. Today and tomorrow, which kind of sucks. So yeah, that is what it is. So it's just to watch the brain activity because I've had seizures in the past. They have to kind of monitor those things. That's it. Nothing major. More of a hassle and uncomfortable than anything. Honestly. Okay, so that one is done. So we're gonna bring our plant up here. I'm wired for sound, you know it. So basically with these big leaves, I'm just gonna fold them down and push the wires into that mess. Doo-doo. Hopefully this looks decent, or at least cute. So all of these leaves I got from my Amazon reviews, which was kind of cool. So I didn't have to pay for any of the leaves. So overall, this is really not costing me but a few dollars. So it's kind of cool. I really like that. Let's see, we have a question. My mom has recently stopped chemo as it no longer is working for her, and I am interested in RSO oil as there is no more options. It's hard to get the plant, and I'm scared on what type of solvent is the safest. Do you have any advice, please? Pretty much all of the solvents are going to be pretty safe that you're going to use. You can use anything from Everclear. You just need to make sure that you boil this off. The reason why I'm going to tell you that these are pretty safe is because you are not going to smoke this RSO. She is not going to smoke this RSO. You are going to eat it. Literally, you're going to take a big glob of it, put it in your mouth, and you're going to swallow it down. So if there's anything left in there as far as carcinogens, it's really just the alcohol, and it's really not going to be a lot. The hardest part is either getting a hold of the RSO or enough flour to make RSO out of it. You basically need about 60 grams of RSO to do the trick. And you're going to start out with a rice-sized piece of RSO, and then you're going to move yourself up. I started off with a little bitty rice size, probably about that size on my finger. When I ended it, I was up to 4 grams a day, 2 in the morning and 2 at night. So the more you can take in, the better. The more you can take in, the quicker, the better. So I did 100 grams of RSO in 30 days. I didn't do the whole 90 days, but I did 100 grams of RSO, not just 60. So I did 40 over what Rick Simpson recommends, and I did it in the fastest time as I could, which was, I think it came up to 32 days. I'm not 100% sure, but you can see my RSO diary here on YouTube. I did put an RSO diary where I did share what I was taking, how I was taking it, and how often I was taking it on my YouTube channel. So I would hit the YouTube channel up and get that information. But you'll see the gradual improvements that I had made throughout that 32 days. I want to say that there was 4 or 5 days in there I didn't film, and it was because I slept. It would be my husband would bring me the RSO in the morning. I would take it, sleep most of the day. He would bring it back into me in the evening. I would take it and sleep most of the night. But that's really what your body needs when you're sick, is you need that rest. Chemotherapy does not allow your body to rest. It's a poison that they're shoving into your system to try to kill something, when ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to end up killing more of the patients, or ultimately kills more of the patients than it actually does heal. And there are several doctors that have been online actually verifying that. So, yeah, you're going to want to get hold as much of that RSO as you possibly can. You are then going to want to make sure that she does maintenance doses on a monthly to bi-monthly basis. So every month or every other month, you're going to want to be doing that. A small amount, not the whole 60 grams, but a small amount, probably a gram or 2, as a maintenance dose, just to make sure that your levels stay clear. So there it is. If you have any other questions, I am happy to answer them. So now we are going to put the rest of this in here. I know it's a long spiel to memorize, because there's a lot of information to go through when it comes to Rick Simpson oil. There's a lot of different ways that it works, and then there's ways that it doesn't work. So that's the one thing I want to make sure that everybody's aware of. Do your research. Make sure you're not doing all plant extract. All plant extract is not RSO. So make sure that you are golden there. So let's put this back in the middle. And let's find me a lighter. So, and then with all of these, I'm just going to kind of push them in and make them fall down. Now with these leaves, I'm going to crisscross them in the pot, simply because I don't want this giant hole in the middle here to not have anything. And this is basically just to go up on top of the entertainment center or wherever. I wouldn't put it down real low to where people can see that it's fake, but when it's up high, it'll give nice green tones to your room. I want to get some fake cannabis leaves and do the same thing with it. Make a couple of bundles in my living room for the planters. I think it would be fun. So let's see here. Now I want to go ahead and throw the flower in. Now we are into the little ones. Actually, might be able to make more than. So with some of these, I'm going to kind of interweave them into this plant, into this rose bush, or the rose plant, just so that way I can keep them separated and together all at the same time. Go in there nicely. What was that? Sorry. Oh, thank you, Chrissy. What do you mean, do it in a hotel? This is a 30-day thing. This isn't like a 1 or 2 day thing. This is like a multiple day thing. So I don't understand what you mean by in a hotel. You can purchase it, take it home and do it. Just if you're not in a legal state, I mean that's kind of one of the chances that you have to take if you're not in a legal state. I can't tell you to take it home. I mean, I could tell you to take it home, but I don't want to tell you something that's going to be illegal. That's something that you guys are going to have to decide on your own on how to do that. There are a lot of people that, move for this specific reason. So I can't advise you on that type of a thing, but I can advise you and say this is a 30-plus day regime. I mean, if you guys want to stay in a hotel for 30 days, yeah, you can do that. But I don't see why you would need to, if that makes sense. Oh, okay, you're going to do a big batch in New York. So you want to know if you can make the RSO in a hotel? No. No, you cannot. And the reason why I say no, you cannot is because it is highly, highly, highly flammable. This is something you're going to want to do as cautiously as possible and not something that a hotel would offer. You don't have a stove, you don't have an oven, you don't have an oscillating fan to get the fumes away from the fire. No, you cannot do this in a hotel room. This is something you would literally have to take to, you would either have to buy it in that situation, or you would have to have somebody at a home, at a place of residence to be able to do this with. If you get caught doing it in a hotel room, they will prosecute. I guarantee it, because it is very, 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 very flammable. So, just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Definitely interesting. So there's the green. I am probably going to play with this a bit and see if I can find a better way of doing it, because I don't know. Maybe I just need more green. I mean, it is going to be up on a shelf, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but question for everyone on this stream: what is your favorite dish to make? Do I get to say two? Mine to make is quiche. I love quiche. Absolutely, you would be a lot better off doing the RSO outside instead of in a hotel room. However, I'm going to guarantee you, if you do it outside of a hotel room, they will shut you down. That will not go. And the reason why I'm going to tell you that is simply because there's a lot of smell with this. So don't think that you're going to get away with something. There's a lot of smell with this. This has a lot of odor to it. So, I mean, as far as a hotel goes, I would leave that off the list. Unless you're sleeping there. To be honest with you, I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to be a killjoy. You need your medicine. I get that. You just need to find a safe way of doing it. And, I don't want to see anybody get in trouble either. Oh, okay. Then what were you trying to say outside? Oh, just outside in general, yes. Absolutely. I've done it both ways. I've done it outside and indoors, so it's really up to your preference. Absolutely, there's not enough ventilation in a hotel room. You are absolutely correct, Michael. Agree with you 100%. There is not enough ventilation in a hotel room. Yeah, the woods is the best. I wish I had woods out here because I would so do that, but we don't have woods out here. Well, we do, but I'd have to drive many miles to get to a woods. But I love the woods. But yeah, I would totally do that in the woods too. So yeah, it's tough. This one is tough. Hopefully the government starts to see and appreciate the fact that, you know, hey, we're trying to do it the right way. We're trying to utilize this medication to our fullest advantage in the right way. And that's really what I'm hoping for, is that the government can see the fact that we're not wanting to abuse this. Cannabis is not a gateway drug. And again, check the stats early this morning. As of this morning, there's still not been any deaths by marijuana. So, you know, what are you going to say about it? So, well, I am willing to open up the floor. If anybody would like to come in and talk, I am willing to allow you into my feed right now if anybody is interested. Please let me know. I don't sell any. I'm sorry. The RSO I get is for my use only, and I don't sell. And right now I'm not cultivating, so, yeah. I would, but I just don't sell right now. And I don't have a way to sell right now. So, if you would like to come in, go ahead and write a message on the screen, and we will go from there. I know that there are some Colorado shops and some California shops that you can buy from. You just have to look them up online, and a lot of times they'll ship directly to your house, and it's very discreet. Nobody would ever know it was in there. It's packaged very well. I don't personally have any connections to people like that, but I do know it happens. So that is another route you could try. There, I think that's done. And it's a plant. Kinda. What do you mean? Do I believe it's just as natural? What do you? I don't understand what you mean by it's just as natural. RSO. You were wondering the same thing, Michael? Oh yeah, hun. Actually, to be 100% honest with you, the cannabis in California, Colorado, or Washington State is probably some of the best cannabis you're going to come across. And that's just honest truth there. Yeah, no you won't. Sorry. I don't allow people to come to my house. Oh, you're replying to somebody else. I gotcha. I gotcha. Never mind, I'm good. That took me a second. As to what can be made in your home, it depends on where you're getting your flower fund from. Honestly, 100% honestly, unless it is a naturally organic grow out of Arizona, it's not very clean. Sad to say that. I wish I could say that. So yeah, it's all pretty clean. Colorado has some really good testing results, as well as California and Washington. It's when you're looking at some of the other states that you kind of question. I don't know about New York right off the top of my head. Oh, heck yeah. Oh yeah, homegrown is 10 times better. The homegrown I've done, just because I'm not cultivating right now, doesn't mean I didn't cultivate, but the homegrown that I've done was 10 times, it was amazing. You could taste everything in it. So I absolutely adored the all-natural, fully homegrown stuff. And right now I'm actually working on a new project with cultivating, only I'm going to be doing some extreme cultivating. Once I get it up and going, I'll kind of show you guys what's going on. But what about Oregon? Oregon, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked at their stats. That's the only reason why I haven't said anything. I'm not 100%. I can look at them and see what they have, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Yeah, I've made RSO here at the house. And again, in the garage or outside, that's always a better place to do it. Whenever I'm boiling off the last part of that Everclear, I will do it in my oven in the house. But I do recommend doing it in like a toaster oven on an extension cord outside, simply because that you can't get better ventilation. So, and then obviously don't smoke, don't light candles, don't do any of that stuff around it because it is highly flammable. I've seen several dispensaries, sadly dispensaries, blow up their own labs because of being too cocky with everything. So when it comes to growing and when it comes to doing stuff like this, if you get too cocky, it'll come back at you. It usually does. So I try to stay a little less cocky because my car, you know, if it's gonna hurt, if I'm gonna screw something up, I'm gonna screw it up that way. Trust me, I'm my own worst enemy at times. So, because this is actually going to go up against a wall, most of these are going to come to the front. There, so this one is ready to go. On to the entertainment center now. Different, but it's green and that's what I want, so there it is. So I mean, you can buy it if you don't have the money to buy the fake greenery. You can always buy the leaves, kind of throw stuff together. I did go ahead and pick up some of these styrofoam balls. So that way if I had stuff left over, if I wanted to try something else, I could, which I probably am going to. But overall, that's pretty much what I wanted this for. I have a specific place in mind for it. So, there it is. Thank you. Yeah, you want my email or my email is here. I'll write it in the comments. CTC. There. I just wrote it in the comments to make it a little easier for you, because sometimes it's hard to be able to tell. So. Creative genius. I don't think I'm a creative genius. I was just looking for something to do. I had these stupid leaves from doing this Amazon review, and to be quite honest with you, I'm like, what am I going to do with all of this? I don't need to keep collecting shit. And that's when I was at Walmart and I saw a fake leaf and I saw how it was actually put together, and I'm like, holy shit, that's a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So that's all it was. That's basically what happened. How did I lose the light? Huh. Guess I unplugged it. So, overall, that is it. Any other questions for me, guys? I am ready to go take my medicine. It is that time. I think it's that time. I'm looking. Oh yeah, it's that time. 11 o'clock. I have 9 minutes. So, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me here on Facebook. I'm going to be back periodically. We're going to start doing some more stuff on Facebook, see if we can have some fun. I went ahead and I got some of these stickers because I lost, or my adulting is hard decal came off of my cup, so I made my own, and I made it all squibbly like a little kid would do, just for something fun to do. So I have my adulting is hard back on, and you guys know I'm an angel because my pillow says so. And don't forget to hit up that YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I need all the help we can get these days. You know how it is. But that is it for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Mwah! Mad love, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hello? This is her.